The snoring symphony was a cacophony of coughing and chortling. I thought one man was about to die. It was a little too much to just lay in bed, so I got on the road early. The walk was beautiful up the side alleyways of this little town, except when I came to a wall where it had a very interesting sculpture. I'm not sure what the meaning of this skull was, but it was a little unnerving. There were lots of farmland I travelled through today. The farmers would often let off bangers to scare the birds away. And again, it's fairly unnerving if every few minutes you hear this loud explosion in the distance. This was my one major hill of the day to climb, and it was fairly steep, but it was well worth it for the views on the other side. Part of my Camino Familiar are an elderly couple, 60, 65 they probably are, who are from Mexico. We see each other frequently. They are very boisterous with their ones. They speak zero English, but we get along well. Today I caught up to them and the senorita was grabbing at her ankle and her husband was caring for her. I suspected it was a muscle strain, so I offered them some ibuprofen. And they declined politely. I smiled and put my headphones on and continued. After a few hundred metres I could hear, Buen camino, gringo, senor. Confused, I turned around to find the man asking for one ibuprofen. I gave him the packet. I guess that's my first drug deal I've done on the Meseta. I haven't seen them since and I hope they made it to the albergue. One of the small towns is famous for its storks, which you can see here. The walk took me past a beautiful canal. They even had a boat to catch. The town Frómista is full of life, and the albergue unfortunately is not. For €12 I guess you get what you pay for. It didn't open until 2, which is so frustrating as most people organise themselves to arrive earlier. I rested for a bit and went out to get something to eat. It's siesta time, so restaurants were closed, but I ended up in a Spanish pub. There were 2 groups of men playing cards and tennis on the TV. It was a really lovely atmosphere. I bought my traditional Spanish tortilla and iced tea and gave the man €20 and he gave me back 24. He was very grateful that I was honest. I explored the local church, which was beautiful, and then decided to go out to a restaurant for dinner as I didn't trust the albergue. Ended up having a fairly expensive paella, but it was vegetarian and it was actually quite delicious. Today I took 41,383 paces, climbed 31 stories and travelled 29.5 kilometres. Stayed at the Albergue Stella de Camino and I wouldn't recommend staying there if I was going back. Having tried a few pilgrim breakfasts, I'm going to go out on a limb and just say avoid them. They're not worth the money you pay. You're better off just getting some breakfast at a cafe along the way.